for those of you that don't know, and you should do anyway, Sara is a DJ, touring, very active as a DJ, also very active as a producer. So she's got a full spectrum of knowledge within the music industry, from DJ and like performance aspect, but also as a producer. She's going to be showing you some sort of composition techniques with Captain Plugins. I think one of the great things about Captain Plugins is, you know, as a point blank student, boom, 30% discount. Simple. So if you like what you see and you're like, whoa, that's real cool, 30% discount, boom, easy. You know, jobs are good in. So there's a way of accessing those materials at a really very competitive, affordable rate, and then you can get involved in that way. People in the chat are already saying hello to Sara, so that's like, T, time to shut up, time to hand it over. So my man Koi behind the scenes, time to put Sara in the spotlight. Sara, over to you.
Hi, just want to say thanks everybody for joining us today, and thanks again to Tijan and to Koi and for all of Point Blank for having us today. So I was already given a very gracious introduction, so I'd like to just get right into the workshop today, and I'm going to be showing you how you can compose with Captain Plugins. Now, Captain Plugins is Mixed in Key's newest series of plugins, and the very cool thing about this series of plugins is that all of the plugins can connect together so that you can compose the chords, the melodies, and the bass lines in the same key. So let's get right into everything here. I'm going to share my screen with you. So just let me get to my screen share here. Okay. Can everybody see my Ableton there?
Yes.
Yes, okay, wonderful. So first thing I'm going to do here, I'm working in Ableton today. We have a couple different plugins that we're going to be taking a look at. So we're going to be having a look at Captain Chords, also Captain Melody, Captain Beat, and Captain Play. And if we have some time, I might show you Captain Deep as well. So Captain Plugins, we just brought out our latest series of plugins, which is Captain Plugins 5. And there's some very new cool additions that I'll be showing you here. So I just dropped an instance of Captain Chords onto a track here in Ableton. This is the verse tab here, and for the most part, this is the tab that you probably would like to work in. Along the top here, you can see some different tabs for different sections of the song, the verse, the pre-chorus, the chorus, and the drop. So you can use these to write different parts of the song here. And then this is the play tab here as well. You can also use this here. So if I click on, actually let's click on MIDI keyboard first. So if I'm using a MIDI keyboard, if I have a MIDI keyboard connected here, whenever I play a chord, maybe I can just turn up the volume a wee bit here. Whenever I play a chord, it's going to be a triad from the scale that I'm working in. Over on the left-hand side here, I can select a key. So I can select any key. I'm in the key of A right now. And you can select from a range of scales, everything ranging from major to minor to pentatonic. And there's some fancier scales down here. I usually recommend writing in major or minor, as that's what most urban and dance music is written in. And there's some fancy things here we can do with the MIDI keyboard as well. You can change different octaves here to be different types of chords. So for example, if you like, you can put some seventh chords on a lower octave, or you could actually just change to the triads from the A minor scale, but have them in what's called the first inversion, and then have the chords in the root position be on a higher octave there. So some interesting things that you can do with mapping your MIDI keyboard. Now, if we go over to the computer keyboard tab here, let's just take that one a little more there. This is set up in a very interesting way so that you can actually play chords on your computer keyboard. So I'm just going to do a little jam here, and I'm going to jam out some chords. So I'll press spacebar to start. Okay, so I have a pattern there. Now I have a choice of what I can do with this MIDI pattern. One thing that I can do is I can drag this clip here over to my DAW, just like this. Or I can also go to edit. This is a new feature here. So I can choose to edit in the verse tab, the pre-chorus, or the chorus tab. So that will take it over here to the verse tab. Now I'm just going to clear out this pattern just by clicking on these three little dots here and then going clear. So let's start writing something from scratch here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up the key. I'm going to go to C, and then I'll stick with the minor scales. As I mentioned, I like to write in major or minor. And the first thing I'll do here is I'm just going to drag this first chord to be 2 bars here. Now, an exciting thing that we have in Captain Plugins 5 is the ability to edit MIDI in Captain chords. We haven't had that before, and we had to wait a long time for it, so we're all very grateful that we have this ability here. So I just have a C minor chord here, and I put a flat 6 on top there, the A flat. Right now I have the default triad of the chord, meaning the C is on the bottom. If I go to inversion over here, I can go to the first inversion, which is going to take that root note, the C, and put it on top of the chord. Or I can go to the second inversion, which takes the flat third and puts it on top, leaving the 5th in the root there. So I think I'll stick with that. I'm going to add in another chord here just by pressing the add button, and I will make this twice as long there. And what I'm going to do next is I will just pick a chord here. Let's go B flat major. So across the top here, these are the different triads from the C minor scale. And below each triad from the scale, there's a range of other chords that I could pick from just to give some more variety and options there. 6 chords, 7th chords, 9th chords, some minor chords, a whole range of things. And as you click around to different chords, you're going to find that the type of chords underneath change as well. So I'll stick with that. Let's go to add another chord here, and I'll drag this out to be another 2 bars here. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to make this the first inversion. And let's add one more chord here. Okay, so here's how my chord progression sounds. Really pretty, so I can work with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to drag this clip down here in the bottom left-hand corner to my DAW, just like this. Now, what if I wanted to change up the rhythm on here? If I click on this rhythm record here, I can record in a rhythm, and I can record in that rhythm either using a MIDI keyboard, or I can also use my computer keyboard. So I'm just going to press record here, and I'm going to record in a rhythm by typing on my computer keyboard. Sorry guys, we're going to start that one more time there. There was something going off between Zoom and my DAW here. Okay, so there's my chord progression. So now I'm going to press done. So I've just recorded in my own chord progression. Now, if I like, I can drag this clip to my DAW. I can also use Captain Chords to alter or modify it a little bit. If I go to space here, you just click on Smart Legato. And if I increase the space, I get more or less space between the chords. So let's say I wanted to use this pattern, for instance, in the chorus. I just click on these 3 dots and press copy. And then if I go over to the chorus, I can press paste. And I have the pattern now in the chorus. So let's go back over to the verse tab. And I'll just drag this clip out here. Let's have a look at a couple other things we can do in Captain Chords here. So I'm using one of the Captain Chords sounds right now, and we have a very wide sound library inside Captain Chords, and actually all the Captain plugins. There's everything from guitars to keys to leads to pads to plucks, strings, and some voices. So maybe let's try a guitar sound and see what we can do with a guitar sound. So just click on this muted guitar here. One thing I can do is I can increase the strum here, which is going to arpeggiate the chords a bit, similar to how a guitar player would strum the strings on a guitar. I'm going to go back to that nice piano sound that I had, because I was enjoying the sound of that there. Now, how can we get some other sounds in Captain Chords here? Well, one thing we can do is we can kind of alter the sound and add to it a little bit by adding some delay and some reverb. Maybe we can filter this out a bit. Another thing that we can do too is we can also take the MIDI from Captain Chords and we can send it to a VST of our choice. Or actually, we have a new feature inside Captain Plugins where you can open up a VST right inside of Captain Chords. Now I'm going to explore that in the next VST we have a look at. But for now, I'm going to go to VST output here. And it says audio is muted and Captain is outputting MIDI notes only. So in case you would like to learn how to do this on your own after a tutorial here, you just click on that output tutorial. And there's a little guide right inside that will show you how to route inside your DAW of choice. So got it. Okay, let me close off Captain Chords for a minute here. And I'm going to create another track here. And I'm going to put on, or I'm going to insert a plugin. Let's use Hive maybe by UHE. This has some nice pad sounds to it, and I think I'd like to use a pad sound for this piano. So I'll just go to the presets here. And let's go to user. These are some atmospheric pads that I made. And then I have to do one other thing in order to get the sound to route to the synthesizer here. So I'm just going to go MIDI from Captain Chords, and then Captain Chords, and set the monitor to in. And now when I go back, play my chord progression. You can see that all the sound is being generated by the synthesizer. So once again, MIDI is coming from Captain Chords and it's routed into a VST. So let's leave the chord progression as is. If you have questions about Captain Chords, at the end of the workshop here, you'll have a chance to ask some questions. So maybe write them down in the meantime so you don't forget them. Now, let's go on to our next plugin here. And next, we're going to check out Captain Melody. Now, in the Captain series plugins, you could use Captain Deep to create a bass line. I'm going to use Captain Melody today. Sorry, my zoom is kind of right on top of this MIDI channel here. Okay, perfect. So first thing I need to do here is I just need to press connect. And what this does is it connects Captain Melody to Captain Chords. So Captain Melody has read the chord progressions from Captain Chords, and you can see them across the top here. We have a C custom, E flat major, C minor, C minor. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to record in a one-note bass line, and then I'm going to use Captain Melody, the move tool, to move around the notes in the bass line. So this is kind of, I don't want to say it's a top secret way to make a bass line, but it's a little bit of a less explored way to use Captain Melody, and I think it's a great way to make some cool bass lines or some melodic lines. So I'm just going to go into the magic record mode, and the other thing that I need to do is select the sound. So I'm going to go into plugins here, and I'm going to open up a VST actually right inside of Captain Melody. So Mix and Key has made some of the most popular synthesizers on the market compatible so that you can open them up inside of Captain Melody. So I'm just going to use Massive here, which is a Native Instruments plugin. It's a bit of an older plugin now, but has still a lot of great sounds. So I'll choose this Motor Impact, which is kind of a Detroit-inspired sound preset pack here. And I'll click on bass and pick this 90s sound here. Okay, and we'll just close this down here. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to record in the bass line here. So I'll just let it cycle through once. And then these are just ghost notes right now. So you can also clear out these notes here if for some reason you didn't like what you recorded. Then you can just clear them like that. And let's record in just something else here, just so I can show you how that feature works there. So you can just keep on clearing things out, you know, if you get a new idea as you're playing. And then press done here. So what I'm going to do next is I'll just click on these notes here, and then I'll go to the Move tab here, and then I can use the different chord degrees here to work a bass line out of these notes here. So the root, the third, and the fifth, these are all the most stable notes from within a triad or within a chord. The green notes here, the fourth and the sixth, these ones here have a little bit more tension, and then the seconds and the sevenths have the most amount of tension. So let's see what we can do with these notes here. So I'm just clicking on a note, and then I'm using my computer up and down arrows here. I'm going to make this one a G. This one here, what we're going to do with it here, maybe a D. Maybe this one is a C. And let's say, maybe I want to move these ones over a little bit. Nice thing is you can zoom in here, have a closer look at your notes. Okay, so for the last four notes, yeah, C is going to work for us. This one's a wee bit short, so you can just extend it a little bit. Okay, maybe I'll erase these ones at the end. Okay, let's use Captain Melody here. Maybe I can change the rhythm. I was writing this, I got another idea. So I'm going to put my first idea in here. So the nice thing about using Captain Plugins is maybe you can do like some multiple ideas. So I'm just going to clear this out here. I'm going to go into Magic Record, and I'm going to record actually a new bassline idea. Using those, I'll go back and I'll make the same notes. Okay, so there's my notes there. So let's see if I can kind of get these notes in there. I can remember what I was writing for. Let's see. So I can use these chord degrees here. So I'll make this C. I'll make that one a C there. D. There we go. I think that should be pretty close. Okay, sounds good to me. What I'm going to do at this point is I can drag this clip over here to my DAW. And I'm just going to close this out now. We're going to come back to Captain Melody at the end if we have time. There's lots more kind of fun things we can do with it there. But for now, we have a bassline idea. And with this little loop here, I want to make this into a 4-bar loop. So I'm going to have 2 bars of the bassline playing and then silence at the end there. So you can do some close editing in your DAW here. Okay, sounding good. I like it. It's working with my production there. I like that better than the first idea, so we'll just put that up there. Okay, so let's go on next. We are going to use an instance of Captain Play. So Captain Play is more like a jamming plugin. And you can use Captain Play here for one of two things. You can either use it to jam in some chords, and this is going to look a little bit similar to Captain Chords, which we already had a look at. So in Captain Play here, you can use your MIDI keyboard to play in chords. You can also use your computer keyboard to play in some different chords here, and then you can drag that progression out. But how I like to use Captain Play is actually to play in and jam in some melodies here. And the cool thing about using Captain Play is that all of the melodies you play in are going to be in key with your track. So let's go over here to plugins and let's get a sound. Let's get maybe Reactor here. So another Native Instruments plugin here. I'm going to pull up like a more analog type sound. This Computer Works should do. This is Monarch, by the way. This is a synth here that can create lots of cool, like different mono sounds. So we'll close this out here. And let's just make sure we're in the right octave. Okay, it's a little low, so I'm going to use the brackets here to go into a higher octave. So as soon as I start playing here, as soon as I press the space bar, I can start recording a little jam. Okay, so there's my idea here. So I'll close this out here. And let's just see, you can see there's a couple things we can clean up there. just let me change around maybe one note at the end. And let's just solo this for 1 second. Just want to make sure I have my last bar correct here. Well, perhaps we'll just leave it the same as the rest of them there. Okay, so we have a couple different parts here. Oopsie, I do have to fix that last bar up there, don't we? So it goes like this. Okay. Good enough for rock and roll there. So you can always do some little changes into your DAW after you've jammed out some ideas there in Captain Play. So let's just take a quick listen to what we have so far here. I'll just turn off these elements kind of one by one. So we have our chords there. We have our bass line. Go on now, and let's go on to one more melodic line. So I'm going to use Captain Play, and I'm going to use this to jam out just one kind of counter melody here. So we're going to go back into Play Melodies. Once again, a very cool thing about using Captain Play is the ability you have to just jam out melodies that are going to be in key there. So I think I'll just use this Heaven Plucked lead. Okay, and I'll just try doing a little jam with my computer keyboard here. I know you can't see my computer keyboard, but you can see I'm pressing the keys here on the screen. Okay, so here we go. Here's one last jam with Captain Play. Idea there. So I'm going to take that idea and I'll just drag it up there. And I mean, an idea like this you might not want to use at the same time as something as that kind of like analog synth line, but maybe that will work in a different part of the arrangement. One other thing that I might do to this this analog line, just because it has some lower mids, is as I'm writing it, I just might want to clean it up there. We're not going to go too much into EQ or compression or anything today, but I just might want to clean up this one part here, just to kind of take out some of the bottom end there. Next we kind of need some more interesting drums, because all we have so far is a kick drum. So let's get some more drums going on here. It's time to check out Captain Beat. So Captain Beat is a very cool, where's Captain Beat? Captain Beat is here. Captain Beat is kind of a cool drum machine plugin. for making all sorts of different percussion patterns. And in Captain Plugins 5, we've made a lot of different changes to Captain Beat here. So let me just take out some of the drums so we can kind of start fresh here. And first thing I'm going to do here is I will just select drum kits. Now Captain Beat comes with all sorts of different drum kits. Mixed-in Key has included quite a few here. So there's After Hours, there's some chart toppers, there's classic favorites, and I'm going to look no further than this 909 kit here. Classic drum machine for techno. Okay, and just let me turn off some of these other parts here just so we can focus more on making some drums. Maybe we can take the bass out there. So far I have a kick pattern. So I'm going to go to the clap. Now, one cool thing about Captain Beat is you can use your computer keyboard to program in your different drum sounds. This is a big feature in all the Captain plugins, as you can see. You know, if you're just starting off making beats, you might not have it even a MIDI keyboard yet. So the fact you can use your computer keyboard is great. So let me try drumming in some claps here. Press done when I'm done drumming my claps here. And I want to make them a little bit more techno sounding. So I'm going to go to this edit menu here. And if I go into, there's different sections here. If I go to the effects, I can filter this out a bit. Add some character. And you can hear what the reverb is doing because it's giving that more atmospheric, dreamy characteristic to it. Now, let's program in some snares. I'm just going to draw them in. So I can either use the pencil tool here, or I can just double click here just to make some snares. Now, once again, I want to do some sound design on the snares here. So I'm going to filter them out as I'm playing. If I so desired, I could also tune my drums here. Oh, sorry, that's volume. No, I was right, that's pitch. It's right here. I can take the volume up or down here as well. And I could also change the attack, the hold, or decay. So I have some control over the transient part and the last bit of the decay as well. I'm just going to leave those as is though, because I think they're sounding okay. And let's go on to the hats. So for my closed hats here, instead of drawing them in, what I will do is I'm just going to go back to the basics menu, and I'm going to click on rhythms here. And there's quite a lot of different rhythms that are inside Captain Beat. We have some mixed-in key official rhythms here, foundation rhythms, and some hip-hop rhythms, pop styles, and trap. And then we have some very cool artists who have created their own pattern packs of rhythms. So we have some pattern packs by Jack Masick, who's done some South American and tropical house pattern packs for us. We have JS Beats, who's done some more like Afrobeat, dancehall, reggaeton, trap. Kiva NYC with dancehall and dub. A lot of you may know El Dre the Giant, a hip-hop producer. You can check him out on YouTube, also Instagram and TikTok. And then we have Polaris D&B, who is a drum bass artist signed to Hospital Records, and he's made some patterns as well. So no matter what type of drums you're working on, you're going to be able to accomplish that in Captain Beat here. I'm just going to go to the foundation rhythms here, and I'm going to scroll down. I would like some straight eights are going to work for me here. And I just need to copy this pattern over here to the fourth bar. I just might take the volume down on that a wee bit. Open hats. I'm gonna quickly pencil in some open hats here on every other hit. Okay, and then I'll copy those over. Good, here. Okay, let's add in some more elements here. Maybe we can add in a tom. Where could the tom go? Oopsie, where's tom 1? I wanted the sound of tom 1. Oh, it's moved up on us. Here we go. Let me just try out some different things. Probably want to filter that tom as well. So I just make sure the tom track is selected, and then I can filter that a wee bit. Okay, what else can we add to this here? Well, can't really do techno without a ride, so let's get a ride going on. Over here. So I'm gonna copy these over here. And I can just take this entire pattern. Maybe we can add some claves in there. So for these, let me go to the basic rhythm here. And I'll click on rhythm. And let's see, maybe Jack Masick has something for us here. So this is a cool way that you can find some rhythms, is you can just click on these rhythms here. That one's a little bit busy, so let's... Okay, that sounds pretty good there. Now, I'm just gonna copy this same pattern over here. So let's just drag this. I think it goes there. Nice. Okay, so I have a basic drum groove here. So what I'm going to do at this point is I can go to export, and then there's some different options for exporting. I can either choose to export the master audio or the master MIDI. So I'm going to pick the master MIDI just to put it up on this Captain Beat track here. But if I want to export the master audio, let's say I just wanted a loop or something to add to my track, I could go to the master audio and put it on an audio track. Or if you wanted to drag out these patterns track by track here, I could go to the channel MIDI and I could drag it out here. Let's take that clap pattern as well, just so I can demonstrate what this does here. So this is the snare. So I've just put these all on the Captain Beat track, but I could put them on other MIDI tracks. So there's my kick pattern. There's my snare. And then there's all my drums there. So you definitely have options when it comes to exporting there. And just so I can show you a couple more things about Captain Beats, some new things that we've done in Captain Plugins 5 is we've added these fills. So let's say I want to add a fill to the last part. I don't know if they're going to work perfectly with what I'm doing here. So if I make a change, let's say I want to get rid of these acoustic snares, I can actually save this fill here. So Vegas SS. And then I could save the pattern if I wanted as well. Let's say I want to undo this pattern here. Just go back to the original pattern that I had. There we go. So I could save my pattern as well. So we'll call this point blank. That's right, point blank today. Okay, so there we are. So I've saved the pattern. So those are some new things that we can do in Captain Plugins 5 inside Captain Beat that we couldn't do before. Now, just before we move on to some questions here, I'd like to show you just a couple more things you can do in Captain Melody, because we didn't explore kind of the full features of Captain Melody. What is this track doing? So let's go back to Captain Melody here. I'm going to press connect here. And where's our bass line? So let's write another melody just for fun here. And I can show you a different way that you can write a melody here. So first of all, let's get a sound preset. Let's just get a pluck here. Which pluck should we use? That's a pretty one. Okay. You can just test out the sounds just by clicking on them, just like this. Something about that first sound you click on there. Yeah, it has a good name too. Let's create an idea box. Now, in the Captain Melody here, this is a new way to kind of generate some ideas. And you can use the idea box for starting ideas or for maybe refining some ideas. So I have created an idea box here. And a couple things I can do here. One thing I can do is I can update the shape. And anytime I update shape, I'm going to get a different type of shape here. Now, if I take these step and leap values up, what that does is it will just change kind of the pattern of the notes. So as we increase those, the step and the leap values are going to increase or decrease accordingly. That one actually just sounds pretty good out of the box. What I can do is I can also increase or decrease the density of notes. And then I can also
get multi licensing.
The first note as well. So I can have if I want everything just always start on the root notes. Okay, I like that first part a lot. What I'm going to do is so here's a very simple thing I can do here. I can just take this one idea here and I can drag it across to the B flat chord, except put this whole idea so it starts on B flat here. Okay, so there's idea one, just a quick and simple idea. Now, let's say, for example, I just want to undo some of the stuff here. Let's go back and let's just see if we can get some more ideas or a different idea going on here. Let's get some more notes in there. So I like that. So I'm going to use kind of the same idea that I used before. And I'm going to copy this over to the B flat major chord. And we still have 2 more bars over here. So next is a C minor over here. So let's take this up into C. And then I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to create a new idea box at the end. So here we're going to have a melody that more or less is kind of an A, B, A, and then we're going to have it ending with a C section here. So let's see what happens over here. A bit different. I really like what that was doing the first time. So see if we can get something similar going on there. So if I go to that move tool again, I can use this move tool. So there's just quickly my second idea. Add in a couple little ghost notes if you want to, just to add some extra, like some extra notes to your pattern there. So those of you who are familiar with Avicii's work, this is something that he used to do a lot, was adding in these little ghost notes and a couple extra notes in his melodies to really just make little subtle differences to change up the melody a lot. So I like this here. This is another idea that I've come up with. So I've used the idea box and a melodic structure once again of using kind of like an A, This is kind of like a B idea because it's on different notes. And then an A section again with some small variations, and then a C section. So we have an A, B, A, C, just ideas for writing different melodies. And the idea box can help us quite a bit to write those different sorts of melodic lines there. So that's a different way we can use Captain Melody there. So let's go back to our track here. Once again, we have our chords. Oh, no, that's a bass line. Sorry, the chords are over here. So we have the chords. And then we have, nope, that's Captain Melody. Captain Beat. Okay, so Captain Beat. Bass. And then we have a couple different melodic lines. Start to go in and arrange your track after this, after you've kind of created all your different lines there. And you can see it's pretty easy to get a lot of different ideas going in a short amount of time using the Captain Plugins series. So at this point, I'd like to open up the floor for questions. We can take questions one at a time through the chat, and feel free to ask about any of the plugins, and I'll do my best to answer.
Thank you so much for that very, very comprehensive session. I wonder if Koi is there. I wonder if you could possibly stop sharing your screen at this point.
Yes, I can. Unless somebody wants for me to answer with the plugins.
Okay, yeah. Well, we can go right back to that. I was just going to say though, a lot of people, Sarah, were really blown away by some of the new features that as you were sort of making your production there was a lot of people commenting on some of the new features. And that's really cool. Someone was also mentioning that the fact that they had an older version of plugins, but that entitled them to a free upgrade. So they managed to upgrade, and that's been shared amongst our community now. So I guess there'll be some people upgrading their older versions of Captain Plugins now.
Yeah, Captain 5 is a free upgrade for all users.
Perfect, perfect. I guess now then would be a convenient time to just sort of throw it out there. I know it's a very strange medium when you're online and you kind of feel on the spot. But after what you've seen, please feel free and feel very comfortable to ask any questions that you may have in relation to what you've seen. So if any of you want to open it up, please feel free. I'm going to stop and I'm going to say, go ahead, ask a question. And look, the deafening silence there suggests to me that you was fully comprehensive. Is someone there? Is someone asking a question?
Yeah, Dijan, it's me.
Cool.
I was just wondering, can you drop your own samples in the drum, the Captain Beat one?
Yes, absolutely you can, and very good question there. So, if you wanted to use your own sample, like let's say you had a kick sample there, you can just drag it right on. See where it says drop your sample here? So you can use your own sample by just simply dragging and dropping a sample. right
Oh
on
wow,
here.
that's great.
Cool. I'm just going to expand it out there. So, okay, Dave, I can see you've just flown in a question right at the bottom. Why don't you ask her yourself? Go for it, Dave. I can hear you. All right. Well, Dave is asking, and it's quite obvious through your demonstration, but Sarah, have you been using Captain plugins in your own work a lot?
Yes. Yeah.
So when did you begin to start incorporating it into your own production, Sarah?
Well, Captain Plugins is a fairly new plugin. It just came out about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. So that's when I started writing with them more. And before that, I was writing with some of the other mixed in key tools as well. I used Odyssey to make a different song. It was actually awarded Song of the Week here in Canada at the beginning of this year. So that was something that I started making a chord progression in Odyssey with, which was the precursor to Captain plugins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do use this in your own work?
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
Especially if I'm making something that's more chord based and kind of soulful like this. And
Excellent.
yeah, the bassline trick that I showed you guys in Captain Melody, I like to use too.
So Daniel's asked a question as well. Daniel, do you want to go ahead and ask it yourself, my man? Right, I'll ask for you, Daniel. But if you want to ask, feel free. I love to have that kind of genuine engagement, but I will ask for you if you want. Okay, I'm going to take it by the silence there that Daniel's not going to ask, so I will ask on his behalf. I noticed you use Captain Melody for bass instead of deep. Do you make deep a little redundant, or is that just a part of your workflow? I think, does that make deep a little redundant, or is that just part of your workflow?
It doesn't make Captain Deep redundant because I think there's always more than one way to do things. It's really easy to make bass lines in Captain Deep, and I do like to use Captain Deep, but I showed how to make a bass line today in Captain Melody because I wanted to show something special and a way to use Captain Melody that you may not think of on your own.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Any more questions here? Daniel says thank you. Thank you very much for that. Has anyone else got anything that they would like to ask in relation to this? Okay. All things gassed. Go on. I know you're a brave man because you asked the question last time when we did it. Go for it. Ask her. Go.
Thank you. Yeah, quick question. I wanted to know if obviously you can import samples, but can you save the new drum kits with the samples?
Yes, you can actually. Yeah, so if you import in samples here, the best way is actually for me to demonstrate this. Bear with me while I hop on Splice for a minute.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So let's just see. Okay, so there's a kick drum right there. So let me see if I can just drag this kick. Into Captain Beat. So I'm gonna drop my sample here. Now I have this fabric kick here. So I can save, you see how the 909 kit is now, has a little star beside it? So I can save this, select 909 modified, and you can save it to a new bank, right? Or you can save it to an existing bank. So my name's Sarah Sims, the SS bank there. So I go save. And now I have my custom drum kit, which is available in my collection in my bank. So you can see I have a couple different drum kits saved over there already with Captain Beats here. So there's the different kick there. So yes,
Nice. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, no problem.
And obviously, I'm guessing you can route MIDI into that plugin so it plays from that drum kit.
You can route MIDI into the plugin?
Yeah,
No,
so...
that's one thing you can't do.
Okay.
Yeah, so it goes one way. So you can export out of it, but you can't route MIDI into Captain Beats.
Cool, thank you.
Thanks for that question, man. Excellent question there. Okay. Emma, how many bars can you... Emma, go on, ask. I love to hear human voice. I love to hear that other interaction from someone else. Go on, Emma. Or Emmy. Is it Emmy? Would you like to ask? Okay, I'll ask. How many bars can you utilize? Can you change the length past 4? Oh, she's in brackets. She's put, I don't have my mic set up. So there's me being silly. Yeah, how many bars can you utilize, and can you change the length past 4, Sarah?
Yes, you can utilize, I don't want to say it's unlimited amount of bars, but quite a few. So
you haven't ever got to a capacity point where you're like, okay, this isn't enough. So yeah.
No, because I think with making well, it depends on the workflow of the producer, but I tend to make shorter loops, and then I would drag them my workflow would be to take them into the DAW and then to modify them from there. But I mean, generally most drum loops, especially for dance and like hip hop, are going to be 8 bars, 16 bars. You're working with a shorter loop, right? And working from there. But you could make quite a few.
Cool, cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the maximum length is.
No, she was saying, I think what Em's saying is she's not sure she's seen it used past Thor, but thank you for letting her know that.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. Okay, has anyone else got any questions they would like to add? Please feel free to ask. I note now by the fact that we haven't got any questions through from the chat. Oh, Sodo's coming with a last minute. Is this a last minute question in there? Or is that just the G as in that was so good or someone is so gangster or whatever? Great workshop. It was the G from Great Workshop. Go on, I heard a voice. Go for it.
Yes, hi, Sarah. It's Thomas here. I just got a question. So, you know, with Captain Plugins, you've got a great opportunity there to play with ideas and then, you know, put some compositions together and so on. And you've got all these instances. And what I wanted to know is, at what point do you consolidate those compositions and then start working with them inside the DAW? In other words, do you stop using Captain plugins once your ideas are all bedded down, so you're happy with, let's say, with the music as such, but then you go and refine them in the DAW?
Yeah, well, once again, I think it depends on your workflow and how many ideas you want to put in the track, right? Because a track can work with just a few ideas, right? So I think once you've maybe got in your basic elements, right? Some drums, some bass, some chords, even that's enough to start to work on your arrangement, right? Yeah. So I would say maybe once you have a couple parts, it might be time to arrange. But once again, it depends on you, because you might be the type of person to be really inspired and get an idea quickly. And you might have one session where it's just like, okay, I'm going to make ideas, right? Just like I did here. So I have 7 different tracks of ideas. And then in the next session, maybe I might start to arrange those.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was more from the standpoint where, like, you guys have added or Mixing Key have added VST instruments. So you've got a great opportunity to play around with sounds now within Captain Plugins, which is fantastic. But obviously, when you want to start adding effects and all the rest of it, that's something you want to do in the DAW, I imagine, when you want to take it further. So is it a case of just, you know, using those, you know, all the plugins, all the VSTs instruments and so on to get inspired, and then, you know, once you're happy with the music, then you can go refine it in the DAW itself. So what would you do at that point? Do you just literally drag the MIDI in and, you know, call it a day, divorce it from Captain Plugins and then carry on from there? Or do you leave the instances open?
Oh, so I would leave Captain Plugins on the track.
Yeah, okay.
You can see when I'm playing the session here. My CPU usage is still pretty low. It's kind of going up and down a little bit right now. I don't know if that's because I'm screen sharing on Zoom as well. But the CPU usage for these plugins are super low. So they're not going to eat up your CPU. And like, let's say, this is obviously more of like a dance track, right? But let's say I was making this for a singer or something, right? My friend, I wanted her to do some vocals, and I wrote this piece, right? And I sent it over to her, and she said, Sarah, it's in the wrong key. You know, I have a more soprano voice. Can you take it up a couple semitones, right? So Captain Chords and all of the Captain plugins would make it really easy for me to go back, and instead of C, I would change everything to a D or to an E, right? Or maybe to an F. Right? And then I could easily just drag out that MIDI again. So if I wanted to transpose the song, I think it would be good to leave Captain Chords like that. But as you know, as far as you said, for adding different, you know, starting to add different plugins on top, you can really do that at any point, right? So like, even as soon as, you know, we just have like one kick drum and your pads, you know, if you want to start shaping these pads, if you know you're going to add more things into the track, like at any point you can start to process them and shape them and reverbs and delays and to get them sounding the way that you want, right?
Yeah, so effectively you're keeping that instance of Captain Plugins just as an instrument as well as a composition, so that you can, you know, inside the door, you add the effect to that instrument.
Yep. And I mean, you might even want to layer sounds here, right?
Yeah.
So I could actually copy out this exact same pattern to Hive, and I could also have my piano strings playing with some delay at the same time in Captain Chords here. Right? So now I'm using Captain Chords as a sound generator as well, right? So I'm using that for an additional layer of sounds. So I would leave them in because, I mean, if you want to go back and you want to tweak something, as we often do, you know, it's kind of fun to go back to Captain Plugins. So I wouldn't remove them. I would just leave them.
That sounds great. So there's no downside, basically, to leave them there. Well, I wasn't entirely sure. That's great. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for that question as well. Really good question there. Anyone else? So thank you there, Thomas. Anyone else got another question they'd like to put forward? Okay. In that case, I think all that remains is for me to say thank you for everybody for the great engagement, for the fantastic questions. I hope this has been insightful to you. Clem says, thanks for sharing your knowledge and experience, Sarah. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we got a bit of an echoey thanks from Dave, R9. That's okay. Got some reverb going on there or something. Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah, for sharing your knowledge with us and for such a really insightful and well demonstrated use of Captain Plugins there. Really, really great. I can see here through the chat, people really appreciated this and they found it very useful. I hope you enjoyed speaking to our students, Sarah. Hope you found it a pleasure and enjoyable speaking and sharing your knowledge with them. I'm sure it's going to encourage them to, you know, develop their skills with Captain Plugins or even upgrade or maybe purchase Captain Plugins. So I hope this was a useful demonstration for yourself as well.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And, you know, thank you to all the students and to everyone else who attended. you know, I would encourage you all to keep writing and definitely check out Captain Plugins.
Cool. Thanks so much, Sarah. All that remains for me then is to say goodbye, everyone. Take care. And we'll see you at the next masterclass session, guys. Take care.